things. Yeah.
Here's my prediction, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the chat with this too. Like, this could be a possible way this plays out. Shadowlands is going to come out and get some hype with it, and it's going to get a little bit of momentum. But I do feel like TBC. We've said it before. I will say it again. We will continue to say it because until I see otherwise, all the data suggests that this is the case. TBC checks the most amount of boxes for the most amount of people. It still is close enough to the original version of Classic that the Classic players can fuck with it and really like it, but it also scratches some of those retail vibes as well. And once TBC comes out and Blizzard releases TBC Classic, is it going to DOA Shadowlands? Is everybody just basically going to stop playing Shadowlands and go, or the majority of people on TBC will be the most popular played version? I think there's a good possibility that it could end up being like that.
I think so as well. Yeah. What do you think, Al?
I don't think so. I think there's still a strong enough competitive PvP scene as well as raid scene that people will continue to play retail. That's a bold claim, though. I don't know. I don't know if the only thing that can kill WoW is WoW. Maybe. No.
See, I think the main thing is that this is what I was talking about this last week, and I want to hear what you think about this as well, because if the big PvPers, right? So I'm talking about people like Venruki, Snuts, all like Sea-Doo. These guys love TBC Arena, right? If they go and stop, and for whatever reason, if they stop and they're like, listen, Arena from Shadowlands is not doing it, and all of them go back to TBC Arena, I think that would be huge for TBC. I think if a lot of these big PvPers go back and say, these are the glory days of Arena, I'm sure they'll continue doing the retail thing for a while. But if they put most of their energy towards Arena and TBC, that could be a huge detriment to retail, and that could be a huge thing for TBC. I know, maybe even possibly seeing TBC Arena in BlizzCon, things like that, where the focus could be on potentially PvP in TBC with Arena coming out. I think it could be really huge, and if a lot of these big PvPers go ahead and make the switch from retail to TBC Arena, I think we could see a huge influx of people playing it and watching it as well.
I don't know, but I think TBC is not the best arena that we ever had, so I don't think TBC Arena is the thing that we will see big PvPers come back to, at least not for esport events.
Interesting. Very spicy take there. Yeah. So you think the TBC Arena players, because a lot of PvPers went from retail to Classic, tried out Classic, and lost interest and went back to retail, right?
Because there was no Arena. Exactly.
You think that same effect might happen with the retail Arena players now? They will come back, try TBC Arena, and go back to it again?
I think if you want the best area for Arena, in my opinion, was probably Mist of Pandaria, but I liked Wrath of the Lich King more, so I'm gonna say Wrath of the Lich King, arena-wise, that is. And I think TBC was cool because it was new, Arena was new, everyone tried it, and people didn't really know yet. They learned, of course, but didn't really know what was good and what wasn't, but the balance isn't really good in PvP, in Burning Crusade, so I don't think it will have a good shot at esports events. That's my 2 cents. That's
really interesting to say, because a lot of people say, with Classic even, the game is different because the players are different. How is that same lens going to apply to TBC, right? If one class is strictly known as the best, say, in Season 4 Rogues, or say, does that mean that all arenas are just going to be Rogues and it won't be fun? Is everybody going to min-max Arena so hard that they're only going to play what's good? That could come up if the balance is off, right?
I see. So that's interesting, right? Because and we see this a little bit on private servers, right? Where I think something interesting is a lot of people are still learning, even when it comes to Arena PvP. There's still some things that I even see, and I'm like, holy shit! This comp before I didn't see it that much in BC, but now I'm seeing the Red Resto thing. I'm seeing a lot of people playing this comp. I'm seeing a lot of people playing different comps, and comps that primarily back in the day people didn't do, getting to a really high rating. I think when it comes to retail Arena, right? I think there probably is more of a balance, definitely, that goes on there with. But then again, you have a lot of people who say, okay, Monk is the best healer class because it has the most movement. They're able to move around much more than other classes. And I think when it comes down to it, we're going to see people playing classes and specs that primarily are the better. But I think a lot of people underestimate TBC Arena. I gotta say, like it in my opinion, it's not the most balanced. It's not the best, right? There are some issues, but I think honestly, like it has some of the most surprising matchups that you will see because there's so many different abilities. There's so many different tactics that you can use, and the fights can be explosive. You can have two DPS against a healer and a DPS, and you can have someone who utilizes something so much better in this one instance where you have obviously resto druids are amazing in 2v2 with warriors, but resto shamans surprisingly are good. You have resto shamans, they might not be as good with hosts, but they have bloodlust, they have in things in arena. So I think there's a little bit more of a surprise element in TBC where things can actually, I think, still have an ability to learn and have new metas. Even though people have been playing TBC for a long time, I still think we're going to see a lot
I
of.
think so too. I really want to piggyback off this, guys. First of all, Alive, shout out to you, Alive. It was so fun doing that with you the other day, bro. Good to see you in here, Fitchy. Thank you for the bits, guys.
Awesome,
type something in chat if you're alive right now because this is It's funny that Alive's in here, but this is a point I want to at least throw out there and like to pause for dramatic effect because this is something that you hear tossed around a lot. I want to get it out there and marinating in our minds. So classic WoW, vanilla WoW, private servers, Nostalrius, Elysium, Chronos, all these things, right? We started classic WoW with close to next to perfect information about the game. The values were a little bit off, but like it was already extremely theory crafted and stuff like this. What the point I'm making with this is that TBC in a 2.4.3 environment, there is way less theory crafting. There is way less like fresh understanding of the meta and exactly how the classes function and operate. So I don't know. People say 1.112 is one of the most balanced iterations of the game, like point blank period. All the classes are in a really good spot. I don't know if the same holds true for 2.4.3. Do we know the meta? Is it fleshed out 100% in its entirety? Was there a really high quality TBC server in the past that had values that wasn't the fun server, that had everything scripted properly and all this? I think hopefully with TBC coming, like there's going to be a lot of unexplored terrain to cover, even though we know some of the broad strokes of the classes.
Well. Yeah, I think honestly, like the amount of abilities that you have in TBC for some classes were the most in any other, like wide range of abilities, right? You have people going in as moonkins who, like something that's really like cool is with druids. You can go into there as a moon spec and still be a great healer, still utilize so many different things up in your tool set as far as priests and warlocks, and so you have so many amazing different things where you're using your whole toolkit, right? And it's similar where in arena nowadays in retail, you can go in there, you can switch your talents out for different things. You have more options a lot of times when you can really look at your PvP counts and things like that. However, in TBC, you have something I think that I like a lot better, whereas mana is much more a resource that needs to be guarded, and if you can get a drink and get out of combat, things like that. And there is no time limit. There's no diminishing returns on the heals, things like that. So you get these really sometimes long games that are so just every little thing you're mismanaging, and I really do believe that TBC Arena has the capacity to be just as in depth, and we all see how those really big pumpers who do classic PvP with all the different trinkets and engineering items, the thought process that goes into it is amazing, right? So I honestly do think there's just as much of a skill cap, maybe not as far as like talents and things like that, but when it comes to comps and when it comes to exploring every class and their abilities, I think there's almost as high as a skill cap ceiling as there is in retail today. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what can be done. I played a lot of arena back in the day, and there was a lot of rogues and priests and mages, but I think with the knowledge comes some people trying out some new things. It's going to be really exciting.
Well, I said it wasn't really balanced, and I stand by that. But I thought a little bit about it. It's not fun to watch if everyone is playing the same comp per se. Let's say 90% of the people play the best the best comp there is around for a certain bracket, and you have the 10% trying to beat that. That's also something interesting to watch.
I mean,
It's
doesn't
less
retail kind of do that
interesting.
too, though? I mean,
I
like, you
guess
see
so.
a lot of
I'm more
same-
like
yeah.
thinking of StarCraft, for example. There was an area where Terran were like the most OP class, and everyone had played it. And then you had that 2 or 3 Zergs in the tournament, and then 1 Protoss, and then they ended up winning the tournament. I mean, that's also kind of interesting in a way. It's different though, but it doesn't necessarily mean bad. But I still stand by the point. I don't think it will be the most watched PvP scene. I don't think.
Just to put one thought in to finish that up, absolutely. Imbalances are what's exciting. If everything's too samey, then it's kind of like retail where nothing really feels exciting. You can't really do anything exciting because each person can't be individually overpowered. So to have things that are, maybe a little bit, the pendulum swings too far one way, that's what creates the excitement, because then you have, David and Goliath and underdogs and things like that. So I definitely agree. I'd rather have some things be a little bit imbalanced than to have it all be the same.
How do you feel about TBCL? I don't think I've ever asked you this. Like, do you like it more than Classic? Like, 80% of my chat, whenever I poll, about 75-80% like TBC more than Classic. Kind of breaks my heart a little bit, but that's what they say. And also, if you are going to play TBC, which I assume you are, what class would you play?
Yeah, like I for sure, I really do like TBC. I think Classic for me has a slight edge. There are parts of TBC I like a lot more than Classic, such as like Arena and things like that. I'm definitely going to play it. I'm going to play multiple classes. I'm going to have a PvE character and a PvP character. So for PvE, I'm going to probably play Elemental Shaman, and for Arena, Mage or maybe Paladin. Maybe
Paladin's a lot
Warrior
of
if I
fun,
can
man.
find some good partners.
It's sad. It's kind of what classes go through the most change? You think from? I think Druid obviously goes through a huge change from
Rogue,
classic
man. Rogue, like
Rogue?
massively, dude, massively. Probably more so than any other class, right?
In what sense? Like PvP
Really?
or PvE?
Not in PvE. I'm thinking from PvP perspective though. But not only do they get Shadow Step, they also get Cloak. They also get
Right.
Cheat Death. They just like people will tell you that the class feels the most. You get that effect of like, oh, you hear this expression shared a lot, right? Oh, they completed the classes. They completed the classes in TBC. I often hear people say they completed Rogue. Rogue feels like it has a fully functioning kit. Now,
I love it.
Rogue is extremely powerful in TBC, and in Classic WoW, the most played class is what, Warrior, I'm assuming, right? I mean, in
Yeah.
TBC, it's going to be Rogue. Like, I don't know if anybody thinks it's
Or
going to be
Druid.
different. I still don't think
I don't
Druid
think
is
it's
going
gonna
to
be
have
the most played, but I think we're gonna see a lot of Druid.
a lot more Druids for sure, 100%. It is a very high skill cap class in general, though, Druid. But yeah, I definitely think Rogue's up there, though. What do you guys think? Is there another one that?
I think Rogue might be the I think you might be right with being the most played class in BC. I think their options in Arena, like in Arena, they're amazing, right? In a lot of comps, you can't go wrong with a Rogue. The amount of CC, the Shadow Step kick, like just so many amazing plays. I love the skill cap in like to play a Rogue okay, like mediocre is not that hard, but to play a Rogue really well, like reckless level well, right, is an amazing thing to see. However, I think there's some other classes maybe that might go through. Rogue go through a big change. I was thinking though, like how Druids go from like being one of the worst healers to being one of the best. They go through a pretty getting Cyclone, getting Life Bloom, and Rogue does have a lot. But look at Hunters, right? Hunters go from being a pretty lackluster DPS to being an amazing DPS with Beast Mastery. You get Paladins come in there with and Ret becomes somewhat viable. Not too much of a change there, but yeah, I think Rogues, Druids, Hunters. I'm trying to think what else really has a big distinct change to it.
I feel like not really Rogue. I wounn't say Rogue. I would say hybrid classes will be played more because the prospects become viable now.
Right.
People know that already. So I would say Paladin, Shaman, Druid. Druid probably less than the other two, but I feel like Paladin and Shaman get some real hype here.
Get ready for the Blood Elf Paladins. There's going to be a ton.
Oh, there's going to be so many, and they're so good. First of all, Arcane Torrent, amazing in PvP. It's just so good, dude. And AoE silence, right? Seal of Blood for PvE is amazing. And I know for a fact I'm making a Blood Elf Paladin. It's
not as your main though, right? You're still going Priest, man.
Not as my main. My main is going to be Priest 100%. I plan on playing Priest, Paladin, Rogue, and probably Shaman and BC.
What did we cover last week, yo? We should get into some classes. What did we do last week? I'm trying to remember. We did Paladin, I know, because they did.
We did Paladin, Shaman, and Druid. Paladin, Shaman, Druid. That's what we did.
We have Priest, Warrior, Rogue, Hunter, Warlock left.
Okay.
And I'm ready to talk about Priest if you guys are. And Mage, yes.
So we did Paladin, we did Druid, you said? Druid?
Yeah.
And we did Shaman. Oh, we didn't get through that many last week then. Okay.
We basically did the 3 hybrids.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can try to go through Priest pretty quick.
Let's let the chat vote, man. What do you guys want to see, chat? Let's do some engagement. I'll make a little straw poll super quick on it, and we'll try and.
Yeah, the Crusader Blood Elf Paladin is really good. However, he doesn't have. I mean, in PvP, Perception's pretty good.
And I just want to play Paladin in TBC.
Warlocks I think will be a big class played.
I think so, yeah. Especially on Horde side.
Yeah.
Here we go. Straw poll in the chat, guys. If you could be so kind to go ahead and vote on it.
What do you want to see next, guys?
Best here. Go ahead and vote.
Come on, yeah. Priest is looking.
Ooh, very split.
Wow.
Classes. Priest and Warlock are tied. Oh God, you guys aren't making this easy, chat. All right, we're gonna
breaking my heart. But we gotta do Warrior on here today.
20,
Oh, absolutely,
21.
absolutely.
Priest is there.
All right, we're gonna give it 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and refresh. Warlock. Okay.
You take it away, Cargos.
All right, let's see what we can do here for Warlock. Let's pull up.
Seed of Corruption.
Yeah, let's pull up the talents. Should do that. I'll try and blast through it. Not take up too much of your time, guys. Here we go. TBC Warlock. Again, this is just the light and polite guys. Where not a TBC big brain myself. Did play back in the day. Didn't play Warlock back in the day, but pretty much one of my best friends to this day, Max, who's Max the Ripper in our guild. He transferred to Incendius, unfortunately. Long time childhood friend, best friend type dude. He always played Warlock. He played Human Warlock in TBC, and we were in Kara week 1 together back during freshman year of high school when this all came out. And he played Warlock, and God, I was so jelly of him, man. Just watching his Warlock in TBC was just inspiring. I mean, I thought the Felguard looked just unbelievably cool. His gear, unbelievably cool. He was always a step ahead of me throughout TBC, and he has Nether Drake first and all this type of stuff. And Warlocks, I mean, in a nutshell, get a massive power level increase in TBC. If anyone wants to fight me on that, let's talk it out right now. But most people you'll talk to will tell you that they get a big power level increase. In PvE, they are doing some of the most damage in this version of the game. They really slap in PvE. In a raid environment, they also conditionally. There's probably some conditions where mages will still perform them AOE wise, but Seed of Corruption is a. Let me see if I can look it up. I can pull up a database or something like that. You guys know what Seed of Corruption does, right? How would you explain Seed of Corruption to people?
It's basically you put it on a target and then it explodes and it does AOE damage.
Yeah, it can do
It's like a sticky grenade.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it does a mess. I mean, you can put it on multiple targets. And and it just boom, boom, popping bomb. It's almost like
there's a delay on it. It's like a ticking time bomb, and then
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the days of feeling like an inferior AOE, having inferior AOE capabilities as a Warlock, we had a live on the stream. Was it yesterday when we did, or maybe 2 days ago when we did that Warlock deep dive? You might think to yourself right now, to the untrained eye, oh, Warlocks, they have Hellfire, they have Rain of Fire, they do amazing AOE DPS, right? Amazing. It's still not really comparable to mages. Mages just spamming Arcane Explosion will do more DPS in them, and that actually ends up hurting you the most as a Warlock when you're looking at overall raid total damage done when you're trying to parse really hard. Actually, these fights where you're AoEing stuff down and cleaving stuff down, you just have no way of keeping up with the Warrior's cleave or the Mage's cleave. So that where you really shine is in raids like raid tiers like AQ, and moving forward from AQ, where you can't pull the trash all together in huge clusters and sapper and cleave them all down. You have to fight 3 targets at a time, and it's because they have effects to them. So anyway, the point I'm getting is that you can actually outclass mages on the AoE front, which is pretty cool. taking a look at their final towns down here at the bottom of each tree, we have probably my favorite out of all of them is Summon Felguard. Again, most good warlocks who played back in the day will tell you that in PvP, the Fel Hunter is still superior. I'm still on the same page with them. It makes sense, right? They're able to still do the dispel offensive and defensive. It's just a fantastic utility type of pet. You have the blanket silence, you have the counterspell. So Fel Hunter is still pretty much what you're using in PvP, but apparently in some specific fives comps, you can run a Felguard, and it's actually good. The Felguard has really cool abilities. It has a cleave ability, so it just like a warrior cleave pretty much. It has a Blade Storm, super hyped about the Blade Storm. It has an intercept, and it also has a taunt on it, and it is very, very chunky. Leveling with a Felguard, it just feels like a dream come true. The thing slaps so hard, you don't even need to use the taunt ability because it's just raw damage is holding the threat from the mob like very, very well. So Felguard, very, very cool. Unstable Affliction. This is something that is a very powerful damage over time. So it says Shadow Energy slowly destroys the target, causing 660 damage over 18 seconds. In addition, if the Unstable Affliction is dispelled, it will cause 990 damage to the Dispeller and silence them for 5 seconds.
So annoying.
As a priest, this is probably very, very troublesome for you, right? You know, the
Yes.
thing I'm looking forward to most if I do end up going Warlock, which I 99% will be the whole Hots and Dots type of team. I can't wait to find a good Druid or something where we can just, attrition out teams and throw up.
Or Shadow Priest lock is good too, man.
Yeah,
What about trees? Shadow play, Druid, Shadow Priest, Warlock.
Yep.
absolutely. Do you guys? Let me stop for a second. Do you guys have any initial thoughts on Warlock? Talking a lot.
SLSL, dude, is just like insane, right?
I don't know a lot about Warlock. I never was interested in playing one in vanilla, but in TBC it's actually not on top of my list, but it's in the top half of my list. So that's something, because it's not a class that really suits me fantasy wise, but I really just like all the different abilities, the talent trees. The shadow play is something I would like to do in the arena, and for that reason alone I would probably try level up a warlock. And I like Destro. I don't know if Destro is good in
Destro's fun, dude.
In PvE, it's apparently the best spec. That's what you use in PvE.
The best one.
I don't know
Okay,
if
so
in PvP.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you ever
I
used to
don't
watch
really.
Cobrak?
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Well, the demonology is not my thing, but Destro is. If I want to play caster in PvE one day, it's probably Destro Warlock over any mage spec, I think. So yeah, Warlock really does it for me in TBC. I like it a lot, and kind of interesting. It's probably top 3, top 4 for me.
That's what's up.
I used to watch this guy called Kobrak, and he used to play like Destro in PvP in like every expansion, and he was like really good at it.
I remember Kobrak. Yeah. I remember that dude. Absolutely.
So there's the SLSL build, the most feared probably build that there is.
Yeah, this could be incorrect. I haven't exactly got the exact spec down, but the point I'm trying to make here, guys, is that you have enough points in a TBC environment to go deep enough down the Affliction tree to pick up Siphon Life, which is an awesome thing in PvP to have, and Soul Link as well. So you're just a very, very chunky, very, very chunky Warlock. You're very beefy indeed, and this would be something like this would probably be my preferred spec. You have some really nice talents like Demonic Resilience, reducing the chance to be critically hit by melee and spells by 3%, reduces all the damage your summoned demon takes by 15. So this is like Resilience, like it's similar to the Resilience stats, but most classes have something like this. They have these PvP talents nestled down there, like tier 6 or yeah.
Just quick, I see that you don't go to the 41 talent, and many people say in TBC specs are worse than in vanilla, because in vanilla you can do those hybrids like you do here, and in TBC you're kind of forced to go to the 41 because it's basically always a very good talent, but now you did different, and I like that. So what's your take on that?
Well, it's good. You're really you can't have that much of your cake and have that and be able to eat it too. So you're not going to be able to get this 41 talent and also get Siphon Life if you're going to get Soul Link. I don't think you have enough points. Also, you're not really using Felguard, and you're going to be using your Fel Hunter. So this is kind of negligible, this talent, if you're going to be doing 2s or 3s or something like that. But yeah, I still think in TBC, right, guys? I don't know. I mean, you still have these hybrid specs, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like, you guys know your own classes.
For some classes, I mean, a lot of classes go down, like Nate said, to the last talent point, but it's very rare sometimes where you have a class that doesn't.
So it's interesting that Warlock is one of those. For Paladin, you kind of have to if you go red or protection or holy. It doesn't matter. You kind of have to go to the last point. Except if you want to try something like Shokkadin, I guess then you can do something different.
Yeah, like priest, for, you want circle of healing for holy. You know what I mean?
So someone already pointing out a nice point. They say get 1 point in this thing to the left of Siphon Life. Interesting. Shadow Embrace. Your Corruption, Curse of Agony, Siphon Life, and Seed of Corruption spell also cause Shadow Embrace to affect the Shadow Embrace effect, which reduces physical damage caused by 1%. I feel like this is something that would be dispel fodder. So you throw up your buffs and you get an extra thing. I'm not sure if you can dispel Shadow Embrace, but that's probably why. The fact that you're pointing that out. Yeah. So again, I haven't really played Warlock in TBC. I'm on Endless right now as a Druid, as a Night Elf Druid. So I'm very much looking forward to playing a Warlock in TBC. It'll be 99%. What I'm going to go. It's either that or Druid. I'll probably level both at some point, but I do want to continue on my Cargo's character in TBC. I'm very very excited about. So yeah, let's see what else I can talk about on Warlocks. The sets look phenomenal. Dude, the sets, all of the sets look insanely cool. I'll pull them up here in a second. Destruction, I don't really know how good Shadow Fury is. I'm really not sure. I feel like you raid as Deep Destro, right? So you got to be using Shadow Fury as an AoE type thing. It's I'll read it for you. This is the final talent here in the Destruction tree. Shadow Fury is unleashed, causing 357 to 422 shadow damage and stunning all enemies within 8 yards for 2 seconds. So if you're pulling trash or you're doing cleave, I feel like this is something you probably cycle into your rotation. I know that you don't really go Destro for PvP though. So again, I'm not exactly sure how super amazing this is, but let's see. So PvE, couple steps up. We damage wise, maybe not utility wise. I'm not sure, but your damage definitely goes up in PvE. More AoE damage, more single target damage. You start slapping really hard. Is it safe to say they're a tier 1 DPS class in TBC?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. Together with Hunters early on, and I think Warlock stayed for the entirety.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, very strong. And early on, originally in TBC, the early seasons, they were also very, very strong. And I think at some point they added changes to resilience to hurt dots. So they became kind of less strong as the expansion went on, but originally they were just beasts.
Yeah, so we will be launching in a 2.4.3 environment. So that dot effect, because resilience, if you guys don't remember, I recently remembered this. Resilience will actually reduce dot damage as well, and also drain effects as well. So like a drain life or a drain mana will also reduce the efficacy of those as well. So I have this. There's this amazing content creator out there. He doesn't talk or anything. He just goes straight matter of fact type of content. But he does. Where is it? Here it is. His name is Protcow.
Oh yeah.
And he has a really good video that shows. I'm not going to play the whole video, but I'm just pausing it under. Here we go. Yeah, so here's his this to supplement my small brain here. I want to read some of the points he has here. For Affliction Warlock, Shadow Embrace, which is interesting. We're just going through this. So so Affliction Warlock does have some utility to a raid environment or a party environment, increasing physical damage caused by 5%. Also in TBC, there's someone said in the chat last time, what is it, 40 debuff slots or something like that? Some absurd amount where it's
so crazy. Yeah, it's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot. Malediction